People get ready, for the train is coming. Don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Welcome, viewing audience and listening audience, to the People Get Ready podcast with the legendary Mr. Charles E. Bibb Sr. from Bibb's Record Shop. Welcome to the star of the show, Mr. Charles E. Bibbs. Take it away, Mr. Bibbs.
Thank you, Reverend Ben Fair. That was beautiful. People get ready.
Thank
you
you,
get
sir.
better every week.
Thank you.
And I know the listening and viewing audience just love it.
Thank you, sir.
And today we are all over the globe with personalities coming on the podcast. We
Okay.
got them all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio,
Yes, sir.
all the way to Lake Erie.
All right.
Ohio River to Lake Erie. That's quite a span in Ohio. You can't get any further apart.
Yes.
And they're going to bring a wealth of information to us today. And on Sunday, Temple Baptist Church is going to do something in East Cleveland that's needed. And we're joining in supporting them, and that'll be coming up later. And my good friend, Minister Vivian Louise Sharp, are you in the house?
Yes, sir, I'm in the house.
Minister Vivian L. Sharp, are you in the house? All right.
She's here.
Minister Vivian L. Sharp.
I'm here,
Pretty busy these
Mr. Bibb.
days.
I'm here, Mr.
We're
Bibb.
gonna move right along.
I'm here,
And,
Mr. Bibb.
Mr. Bibb,
Brother James Jerome
Mr.
Bell,
Bibb, I'm here.
Yes, Mr. Bibb.
I understand you
I'm here, Mr.
adding
Bibb.
another stream of income to your business empire.
well, what's going
Yes.
Tell us where you'll be working.
Yes, I'll be
What's
working
going
at
on with my music?
Furniture in Harbor
I
Park,
can hear you.
Highland Hills, Ohio.
Yeah. Tell Mr.
If anyone wants to
Apostle.
use furniture, please come see me. James Jerome Bell,
At the North.
Value City Furniture, Highland Heights, Ohio.
How will I know what days to come see you?
I'll be working from, my off days are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so I'll be working Thursday through Sunday.
Very good, very good. And
Mr.
it's a full furniture store.
It's one of the best furniture stores for the value in Ohio and nationwide because you get designer looks for less.
All right. Sounds pretty good.
Mr.
to me,
Bibb?
Brother Ben
Yes, sir.
Fair.
Yes, sir. Sounds
All
like
right,
a good
we better
deal.
Come out there and take a look.
Mr.
Yeah.
Apostle, I'm
I
here.
appreciate it.
All right. And we,
I'm
we
here.
want to know any sales you have. Let us know that as soon as there's a sale.
Okay.
Me and Miss Candace Jones and Reverend Fair, we love sales in the furniture department.
Absolutely.
Give us a little head
understand.
start, would you?
I sure will. I sure will.
Okay. This evening,
Hello and welcome.
Yeah,
Hello
baby.
and welcome.
super busy schedule like I told you earlier, and I think we're going to start right now. Miss Candace Jones,
Yes,
I
Mr.
want
Bibb.
you to tell our audience about business opportunities so they can go buy some furniture from Mr. James Jerome Bell.
Okay, so this coming weekend, I know the past couple weeks we talked about double hitters as far as business opportunities go. Well, this coming weekend is another double hitter. So this Friday and Saturday, Snap Delivered is having a Snap Delivered Disruption University. It's going to be taking place in Dallas, Texas. For those of you that can go to Dallas, Texas for that, you can do that. But there are some of us who can't make it to Dallas, Texas for whatever reasons. So we will be having live streaming here in Cleveland, Ohio. So on Friday, July 22nd at 7:30, from 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., there will be a Snap corporate overview streaming here in Cleveland live for the Dallas event. The streaming location is 22681 Euclid Avenue in Euclid, Ohio. That's next to Cortina's Restaurant. There's a little party room there that's available. So that's a great opportunity for those that have not heard about SNAP and what it's all about. And for those that listening audience who don't know what SNAP is, SNAP Delivered is a new food delivery service that helps restaurants stay in business, and it helps those drivers and customers and the community make money as well. Why it's so great for restaurants is instead of the 20, 30, or 40% that a restaurant pays per delivery to the other companies, SNAP Delivered only charges $2 per delivery. Doesn't matter what the total of the delivery is, they only charge $2 per delivery. So that's a great opportunity for restaurants to cut down on their expenses. And it's great for customers and drivers. Drivers get paid multiple ways from SNAP Delivered. So if you want to hear the overview from the corporate resources, come to the live streaming on Friday, July 22nd, 7:30 p.m. Location is 22681 Euclid Avenue in Euclid, Ohio, right next to Cortina's Restaurant. And hold up, it's not finished. On Saturday, the SNAP Disruption University is continuing, where there's going to be a lot of new things that SNAP is going to be introducing. One is the ERC program that SNAP is going to help businesses with, and that's the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program. So they're going to be talking about that on Saturday. Again, that is an all-day event, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and again, we'll be streaming it live. Saturday's event will be streaming at the Chandler Park Building, 17325 Euclid Avenue, in the second floor conference room, suite 2011. If you would like to attend either one of these events, Friday or Saturday, please give me a call, 216-570-4738. Now, the other part of that doubleheader is Goal of Life, which is our other business opportunity, is having an event on Saturday, July 23rd at 11 a.m. at 6200 Rockside Woods Boulevard in Independence in suite number 320. And this event will be, there is a guest speaker there who is Robert Dean Jr., who is the global expansion leader and multi-million-dollar earner. So he's going to talk to you about Goal of Life and why it's a great opportunity. So those are the two double headers going on this coming weekend, Mr. Bibb. So hopefully a listening audience will be able to participate in those events.
Okay, would you go back, Ms. Candace Jones, for me, please, and tell our listening audience and viewing audience about this opportunity for businesses? Would you just expand on that a little bit?
So the ERC program, Employee Tax Credit Program, it's been out there for a little while, but SNAP is taking it on board to help businesses as well. There's a firm that will take the business through it, but what it does is it helps the business earn a tax credit of up to $26,000 per employee. So if you have either two or up to 500 employees, you can take advantage of this program. If you applied for the PPP funds, you can now also apply for the ERC funds as well. When President Biden came on board as president, he made it available so that if you applied for the PPP, you can also apply for the ERC funds as well. So if you're interested in that, it's a great opportunity for businesses that have suffered through COVID, or whether you didn't suffer through COVID. But everybody suffered in some way through COVID. But it's a great opportunity for businesses to get some of that tax money back.
Okay, one final question. What's the payback arrangements to pay the money back?
So if you come on board with the program, there's a firm that takes care of all the paperwork, there's a fee of $2,600 that you pay to get this process taken care of. And it's a firm, a accounting firm that does all the paperwork and everything. If for some reason that you don't qualify for any of the funds, you get that $2,600 back. If you do qualify for funds, and they'll let you know the amount once they go through the paperwork process, the funds that you receive back will be minus the $2,600. So either way, it's only that one-time fee that you pay.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Very good report. Very good report.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And if you want to hear more about it, it's going to be explained this weekend in the SNAP University
Okay.
events this weekend.
And this,
Okay.
you have to wait. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Bibb, I am here. Vivian Sharp.
Ben Fair,
Yes, sir. Right here,
will you
Mr.
tell us what's going on in Akron? Bring us up to date, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Just to inform everyone about the event that happened in Akron with Jalen Walker. Want to let everyone know that the United Pastors and Mission called for an investigation of the police review regarding the deadly police-involved shooting of Jalen Walker. Bishop Larry Mason, the senior pastor of the Mount Zion Church in Oakwood and the president of the United Pastors and Mission, stated, "Not only are we here to pray, but we want to complete an complete investigation of what happened, why did it happen, and who all were involved in the devastation, when and what happened." Bishop Mason stated that President Joe Biden said he didn't want one stone unturned. If one stone is unturned, he wants the United States Department of Justice to come into the city of Akron and find all unanswered questions. It will help the family and the city of Akron and the nation make sense of this senseless shooting. Pastor Marvin McNichols of the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church stated, "We want transparency on how being stopped by a traffic violation ended in 8 police officers shooting Mr. Walker to death. Each officer will be held accountable for each and every bullet fired at and into Mr. Walker." Pastor of Mount Sinai Ministries, C.H. Matthews, stated, "We're here today because of a mindset. The mindset is love your neighbor as yourself." And then we close with Bishop Marbury giving the benediction. So in essence, what we're asking for is complete transparency, and we're asking for the investigation to be fair and complete regarding Mr. Jalen Walker.
Okay. Are you up to date on the press conference the family had today?
No, I wasn't aware of the press conference that they had today, Mr. Bill.
Okay, let me add that for you. The lawyer and the family had a press conference because this is Jalen's birthday.
Oh,
It
okay.
would have been 26 today.
Mm-hmm.
And they think some shenanigans are going on now on the investigation. And they're asking the federal government to come in, the Justice Department under President Biden,
Mm-hmm.
to come in and look at that. So you'll be able to make a complete report next week,
Mm-hmm.
find out what happened on that. And the attorney that met with us when we were out at Oakwood Building at Reverend Maker's church, get in touch with him and
All right.
tell him to send you a copy of what they're doing, because he wrote a letter to the Attorney General of the United States, and we want to share it with the public over here in Cowley County.
All right. Will do, Mr. Bibb.
Thank you very kindly.
Thank you.
Good report. And you also might check with Reverend Macon tomorrow or when you get a chance
All right.
to see if he have additional information that was not seen on the TV today.
All right.
So we want to stay right up on this one. If everyone's aware, nothing has started officially yet from the police department or the
Investigation.
mayor's office. So we're waiting on that to start. They're still doing an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. Ms. Candace Jones, have we heard from Ms. Clark?
Yes, she's on the line.
Okay. Ms. Candace Jones is gonna be going in the deep waters today, gentlemen and ladies. She's gonna interview the candidate for Secretary of State of Ohio. Our podcast is reaching way out.
All right.
This is a very important year for Democrats, and it's a very important position, Secretary of State, all over the country. As you're aware, in Atlanta, Georgia, somebody getting ready to go to jail by messing with the Secretary of State's office. So we know this voter suppression is in high gear.
Yes.
So we intend to stop it here in Ohio at the ballot box in November. But I'm not going to do that part of it. That's why we have Ms. Candace Jones, former Euclid, Ohio councilwoman, and she will take over and bring to the front the candidate for Secretary of State, State of Ohio in 2022. Ms. Clark, go ahead, Ms. Candace Jones.
Thank you,
All
Mr. Bibb. And I just want to read a little bit about Chelsea Clark. So Chelsea Clark is a candidate for Ohio Secretary of State. Chelsea is a small business owner, a councilwoman for the city of Forest Park, which is north of Cincinnati in Hamilton County. She is also a sixth-generation farmer and a single mom. Chelsea grew up in Allen County and went to Miami University, where she studied business, started the campus chapter for the ACLU, and helped to organize for better wages for university employees. After graduation, she began a career in Cincinnati as a financial analyst before becoming a teacher. In her spare time, she started a nonprofit geared towards providing services to Cincinnati area parents, helping their children learn math and science. In 2017, Chelsea was elected to Forest Park City Council, where she has led the Minority Business Outreach Program, bringing scores of jobs to their city while also connecting business owners and entrepreneurs to the tools they need to get ahead. That same year, Chelsea started the STEM Lab, a full-service organization for kids of all ages to help provide opportunities to learn about science, technology, engineering, and math to underserved families. As a mom, elected official, and entrepreneur, Chelsea knows how important it is that we have leaders who know what it takes to balance complex issues, put people ahead of politics, and create an equal playing field. Together, we can protect our democracy. And now I would like to present Ms. Chelsea Clark, candidate for Ohio Secretary of State. And Chelsea, that was such a strong bio. You have so many accomplishments. And one of the things that I did not read as part of your bio is the why you're running for Secretary of State. And those are such strong statements. I think that it's the audience would appreciate hearing those words from you. So if you can start off by explaining to us why you're running for Secretary of State and just maybe some of the advantages or things that you can do as Secretary of State.
Welcome.
Welcome, Chelsea.
Well, thank you so much. Let me tell you, it is just lovely to be here with y'all. Thank you so much, Mr. Bibbs. It has been a time. I'm so excited to finally talk with you and get to see your face. I've been chasing you a little bit, and thank you so much, Miss Jones, for the wonderful work that you are doing, and for you all keeping some things alive up there. This really touches a lot of people. So. Back in, I will go back to 1964. I wasn't around, but some of you may remember. If we go back to 1964, let's go Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama, my dad was 17 years old. My dad was marching. My dad was fighting for rights that as an American born citizen, he was entitled to and was not getting. There was not a full promise, of course. And so he was jailed along with other icons from the movement, and a felony was put on his record for peaceful protesting and marching. And a generation later, his daughter is now running for chief elections officer for the state of Ohio to make sure that not anybody else has to march for their basic birthrights. And so that alone made me want to run. Because the truth of the matter is that we're still talking about the same thing, except it just looks a little bit differently. In 2020, we had record turnout across this nation. We had more people that decided to exercise their birthright and their fundamental rights than at any other time in history. Ohio was historic as well, with over 5.9 people saying, I want my voice counted. What they did was they forewent wages. They were waiting in lines for 2 and 3 hours. You have folks on backcountry roads that were driving over an hour round trip just to drop off their ballots. In that situation, in that election as well, I was working some polling locations and met a lady named Miss Pearl. She's an elderly lady, and she took me back to 1965 Voting Rights Act and how she, worked to try to secure those rights for us. And I asked her, I said, well, how do you feel about where we are right now? And she said, I am so tired of this. She said, I cannot believe we are still having the same conversation. So just because it's not literacy tests doesn't mean that voter suppression isn't alive and well. And what they're trying to do now is stop us before we ever even get up to the table. And so, that paired with the fact that I'm a small business owner and understand the challenges of trying to make sure that we can make ends meet and make lives happen for other people is why I decided to run for Secretary of State.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate your authenticity and, why you want to run. That's some deep background there. And we talked about the importance of voting. What would you say to our young people out here today to encourage them to get out to vote?
I would say that a lot of times it doesn't feel like voting helps. It is hard for people to see the voting, the results of their voting happening to them. But especially for our young people, you need to think about a few things. One, you need to think about college. You need to think about education. Are you having a whole lot of debt? Are you going to incur a lot of debt? Are you concerned about even going to college and what college is going to look like afterwards because of the debt that you're going to take on and what that means for you? Of voting and making sure that we got the right folks in Congress can help alleviate that. Young people that are also should be considering the fact, consider their healthcare needs. Healthcare is the number one reason that you can get bankrupt really, really quickly. I mean, it can change your entire life. So if you are lacking access to good healthcare or not having dental or medical insurance, which we all need, even as young people, right? Then that can be something that's alleviated and improved in the ballot, because those folks are fighting for fighting for us and making sure that those costs and those premiums are at a place that they should be for working class folks. When you look at your school districts, how money is coming into the school and what people are graduating with and the opportunities that it's affording some communities and not others, there's a vote difference. And so voting really is really helps us in our in our everyday lives. And it's something that we do not just in presidential elections when we're going to vote for the president. We got to have other people in office to help the president to do things. And so we're going to vote every single time, every single opportunity, and every single primary and every single general election. And then you're going to vote all the way down. So you're going to vote for your judges. We've got a serious issue with mass incarceration in this country. You want to alleviate that? You want to get some help? Are you tired of going to jail for 10 years over something really minor that's recreationally people are making millions of dollars off of? You vote. And that's exactly what has to happen every single time. Because when we don't vote, we are losing the ability to economically survive and thrive. We are losing the health advantages that other groups have. We are losing if we are not voting.
Right, I agree. And a couple of my colleagues here on our panel have a question, and Mr. James Jerome Bell has a question he'd like to ask.
Hi, Ms. Clark. My name is James Jerome Bell, and I must say that I'm really impressed with your platform and your passion. But what I'd like to know is, what changes systematically can you do as Secretary of State to encourage voter enthusiasm and encourage people from all walks of life to have an active participation in the democratic process of electing not only people who will do their best to espouse contemporary America, but really bring forth the challenges of voter turnout, etc.
Absolutely. Thank you. And that's always the creme de la, right? What she gonna do when she get in there? Okay. Because look, that's what it's about, right? Like, I'm on my council. I'm like, well, you're not gonna let me sit at a table, and I'm not gonna change some policies now. So we're gonna start this minority business, So anyway, so yes, that's perfect. So first and foremost, I don't know if you all recall, but there was a court case that happened a few years back with our current Secretary of State. And he said, listen, I cannot do anything about these ballot boxes. It's just not within my purview. So we must go to the courts and spend some tax dollars to determine whose authority that is. And of course it is that authority does reside with the chief elections officer. And so making sure that we've got adequate ballot box access for people is really, really important. Everything we are in the 21st century, right? With the click of a button on our phone, we can move thousands of dollars of money, but we struggle with making it more accessible for voting. That's a serious problem. So first and foremost, we've got to do that. You all know that we've got a bifurcated primary going on right now. We've got this special election, this rare special election that's happening in August 2nd on some illegal maps. And that $25 million could have gone so much further when it comes to civic education and voter support for high schools. You cannot, myself in education, we are one and the same. I own a STEM education company. And so I am always thinking about how we're passing that baton to our next generation and how we're engaging them in the now. You can't wait until it's time for them to act in order to get them engaged. And so making sure that we've got a robust education system and it's supported and it's championed by the Secretary of State so that we can have them involved. Second to that would be automatic voter registration. So we can trust 16-year-olds. Well, I have a 16-year-old. He's not allowed to drive yet, but a lot of 16-year-olds we can trust with 3,000 pounds of metal and plastic. And, honestly, we should be able to trust our 18-year-olds with a pen at the ballot box as well. That needs to happen. That is the biggest surge that we will have and what will make the greatest difference when it comes to getting folks involved for voting. Making sure that our early dates, early timeframes and days are good and established for working class families, because it's difficult. You're getting off work, it's already 6 o'clock, supper time, whatnot. So also making sure I'm championing that we have a minimum of 35 days of early voting. The proposal that's sitting in the State House right now is reducing it to 10 days. I have no idea how that is helping anybody. And then all around making sure that you have a real champion for voter rights and education. One of the other things that we're seeing is the misinformation. Misinformation is a wonderful little tactic that's being used to help create voter suppression, right? When we say one thing and it's really something else, we confuse people. That keeps happening under this administration, and it's a problem. Last month, a little over a month ago, around the time of our May, well, a little over a month ago, on the Secretary of State's website, there were 2 separate dates for the special election. You had an August 3rd and an August 2nd. You've got to make sure, first and foremost, that what we are telling people is accurate information and it is consistent across the board. I would like to also mention, though, that the Secretary of State's office isn't just about voting. I know voting is the shiny thing and it's the wonderful thing, but there's a little bit more to it. I was going to give it to you just real quick. I know Miss Jones, like, we got to get to the next one. So the Secretary of State also sits on that redistricting commission. Y'all just saw how the Ohio Supreme Court struck down that second set of congressional maps. That they have a vote on that. And you would expect and demand that the Secretary of State, who is the chief arbiter of the elections, is voting on behalf of the people in that work, and they are not doing it. In fact, what he did was vote against, or is voting for illegal maps. And so I need to be sitting on that redistricting commission. Thirdly, really, the Secretary of State's office also is the gateway for business registration and filings. So, our business infrastructure is something that is, we've not, from the pandemic, we've struggled. We are losing hordes of folks, and we're losing people to out of state places as well. And so making sure that that business portal is as good and robust and easy to navigate as possible is also on the agenda, and starting an Office of Entrepreneurship, working with the Treasury and the Department of Commerce to create a one-stop shop so that our small business community, mom and pops like me, really have the right access to resources that they need, and building our cybersecurity infrastructure around that. The Secretary of State does some other things like, of course, keeping the records for the things that go on at the State House and notaries and whatnot. So just wanted to.
Well, that was profound.
Very good. We have to move on. We're down to 4 minutes now.
I'm sorry.
Reverend Ben Fair, you have a question? No. Okay. I'll go next.
Go ahead, Mr. Bibb has a
Okay.
question.
Ohio Supreme Court has decided they got to get back and do the maps over again for Hamilton County is one of the places. Is that right?
Yes.
Would
Yes,
you bring
sir.
the audience up to date on these? Overnight, the Ohio Supreme Court made a ruling. Share with
Yes.
the Ohio audience what the rulings were.
Yes, sir. So this was another split or 4-3 decision. To give you a wee bit of background, what we've been dealing with for the past year is this redistricting. So the redistricting follows what's called a decennial census, which means every 10 years we do a census, and so we count all the people, and then we've got to figure out these new the new maps based on these new populations. Okay, so what's happened is 5 of the state legislative maps have been struck down by the Ohio Supreme Court. That got pushed to the federal. The federal said, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with them maps. Why don't you either you come back and if you can pick out it, if you can come up with a new one, we'll give you until the 28th of May to do that. And if you can't, that's fine. We'll just use one of the ones that got struck down by the Ohio Supreme Court. Okay, so that's what we are voting on in the special election. So what happened? So this is the remnants and the second piece to what's just happened with those other set of maps. These are the congressional maps, okay? And so the Ohio Supreme Court yesterday in a 4-3 decision saying that these maps are in fact unconstitutional, and Ohio's 15th district congressional map said, hey, you guys have to redraw these maps for the 2024 elections, and you have only 30 days to do so. And if you can't, the Ohio Redistricting Commission will have 30 days to adopt a congressional map. So it is extraordinarily unfair. It's you've got poll workers across the state that are filing petitions and upset because they are going to essentially be in charge of administering an election that is not only chaotic but unconstitutional with the findings by the Ohio Supreme Court. I also want to add that when this went up to the federal, the other maps, that is, when they went up to the federal, what made this, what people need to understand is that when Trump was in office, he appointed over 600 federal justices, federal court justices across the nation, more so than anyone had ever thought to do. So you've got some things that are really tight up here, and then you've got your Ohio Supreme and your state courts that are kind of, that are tussling, because the plan was to make sure that supporting secretaries of state with his endorsement, and then having those federal folks on the bench, that he could get things, that things could turn in the most favorable way to him. And so this is good for people that believe that redistricting should be a fair and competitive process, and map should be as it resembles the voting electorate of Ohio. But this is certainly not good for the folks on the redistricting commission to have to face up to.
Very good,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Candace Jones.
Thank you, Ms.
That's
Clark.
what I've been
Thank you.
expecting.
Yes.
You did an awesome job on
You did
that.
an awesome job.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Awesome job.
Outstanding.
Thank you,
Every
Chelsea,
now and
for
then I
joining
try to
us here
read a little
today.
bit.
And I am on the Euclid Democratic Club brunch committee, so we look forward to seeing you at the brunch on August 28th.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and before we leave,
Oh,
in the
Chelsea for
event that you
Ohio.
come to Cuyahoga County before the 28th, let Miss Pam know, and she'll let Miss Candace Jones know, and we'll be there to support you in whatever endeavors you have.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. My
And it's been
website is
awesome.
Chelsea for FOROhio.com. You can follow me there. You can sign up for volunteering and drop a couple coins too. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, give us that one more time. We're a minute over, but just give us that information again.
Sir, Chelsea for Ohio.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
joining.
Very good.
Thank you.
Is Ms. Minister Vivian Louise Sharp on the line?
She's there.
Minister Vivian Louise Sharp. All right.
Yes, I am here. Somebody keeps muting me, but I'm here. Mr. Bibb, are you there?
Yeah, do your commercial for your company.
Okay, I'll do that one because I was here there then too. Okay, sir. Thank you so very much, and I appreciate the time that you give me every week, and that's wonderful for me to do. Hello and welcome. I am Minister Vivian Louise Sharp. Come be with us on my exclusive Discover Yourself streaming radio app, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, except leap year. You know there's 366 days a week and a year. Enjoy music, interviews, and various potpourri people on your Apple or Google Play app. sharpparagon@gmail.com is my email. 216-307-5100. Discover yourself. Discover yourself. And Mr. Bibb, I have another commercial. Do you want me to do it now or later?
No. Okay. Reverend Lorenzo Norris on.
Yes. Yes, he is. He's on the line.
Miss Sharp, please go by the traffic.
Yes, I'm with the
This your
traffic
first
right
time,
now.
but I took good care of you because you're such a good person and put you back in.
Yes,
Now,
Yeah.
we'll talk to you on your regular time. Okay.
yeah, 6:38. Okay, thank you.
we have an outstanding weekend coming up this weekend. It's so big that Temple Baptist Church and Pastor Lorenzo Norris, Cleveland Alliance, and all come in. And then we came in with the Charles E. Bibb Sr. of Bibb's Record Shop podcast. People get ready. So people get ready because Pastor Lorenzo Norris is going to tell us all about it. Are you there, Pastor?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Bibb. Good evening, certainly to you and everyone there on Get Ready. Enjoy, Ms. Clark. Let me talk about something really exciting going on. Temple Baptist Church in partnership with Get Ready and Cleveland Clergy Alliance, July the 24th, from 12 to 3 p.m. there at Temple Baptist Church, located at 1862 Noble Road, East Cleveland. Community Day. This is great. This is great. And we just want to spread the news to everyone. There's going to be on that day, on the 24th of July, this coming Sunday, 3,000 free backpacks, health screening, free basic manicure for school children. We're going to also do voter registration, job opportunities. And these jobs are not just $10 and $8, they're $15 an hour, and 3,000 free hot meals, free haircuts, free clothes, free COVID screening and vaccination. And believe it or not, if you need your roof, steps for seniors on housing assistance, much, much more. You want to get there early, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. That's at the Temple Baptist Church. Cedric D. Veal Sr. is the senior pastor there at Temple Baptist Church. We want everyone to come out, Mr. Bill. This is a great day in the city of East Cleveland, and we just want to, on this community, they reach out and make a difference in the lives of people. And you do not have to pay one penny, one dime. You don't have to register with eligibility. Just come out. And all of this is free. This Sunday, July the 24th. Now that telephone number is 216-249-7000. Let me repeat that again. 216-249-7000. Make sure you get that. Make sure you get early. I hope we spread the news. There's 3,000 backpacks for kids, 3,000 hot meals. You can get a haircut. You need some clothes. You need to be tested for COVID. Vaccinations are free. Housing assistance. And you can register to vote. Kids can get manicured. So come on out. Come on out, and you can get a job.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Pastor Norris. And you and I have been doing this for a long time in East Cleveland, and I think this sets an all-time record. And I'm glad to be there and be a part of it as we set this record Sunday, and I'm asking everybody to come out and support this major effort to help the least of these, the left out, the poor, and the needy. Thank you.
Thank
See
you,
you Sunday.
See you Sunday. See you on Sunday.
All right. Thank you. All right. It's Miss Vivian L. Sharp in the house.
Yes, I am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. They tell me you're keeping jazz alive. Would you tell our listening audience all about it? How you bringing it back?
Yes. Attention, real jazz lovers. Jesse Dandy Jr. and Minister Vivian Louise Sharp are bringing real jazz back. And we are saying that Jesse Dandy Jr. is jazz that is real. a dandy real jazz recording, bass, drum, piano, and vocals. Contact Mr. Jesse Dandy Jr. at 440-343-2871. Contact me, Minister Vivian Louise Sharp, at 216-307-5100. And for 15 years, 1985 through 1999, Mr. Jesse Dandy performed at the Cleveland Clinic Omni International Hotel 6 days a week to help ease the pressure on the loved ones and families at the Omni Hotel, which was located at East 96th Street and Carnegie Avenue at that time. Attention again, real jazz lovers. Mr. Jesse Dandy Jr. wants you to know that real jazz is still alive and waiting for you to discover it again. Music is therapeutic, says Jesse Dandy Jr., and purchase and experience again music ensemble like Have You Met Miss Jones? I'll Be Around, I Should Care. Jesse Dandy Jr.'s Jazz Ensemble, Jazz That Is Great, will be with you next week, 440-343-2871. Vivian Sharp, 216-307-5100. And we're returning to the jazz music that is therapeutic for all and you. Finally, everything is flowing in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Music that continues to help you through all times. Something is flowing in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Music that continues to help you through all times. And music like this is always around. And that's a little bit of Mr. Dandy. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sharp. And we'll run a little late, and we'll move. Is Miss Joanne Harley on the line?
Yes, sir, I am.
Joanne Harley, recording star, are you with us?
I'm with you.
We have a big event series coming up in August, and I thought the audience ought to have a preview of what's going on next month. Would you share with our audience what's going to be going on with Mr. Mike Calhoun of the jazz band, Mr. James Jerome Bell? Jazz band.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
thank
Mike
you.
Calhoun
Yes, sir.
and Miss Joanne Harley. The floor is all yours, Miss Joanne.
Thank you, Mr. Bibb. I'm so thrilled to be here today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And as I
Good
listen
evening.
to different people talk about the strife that we're going through, that's where sometimes we have to have a little entertainment to kind of calm us down so that we can keep going forward. So remember, what I'm going to share with you tonight is going to be for next week when we have our surprise. Mr. Charles E. Bibb Sr. has invited Michael J. Calhoun, who is the incomparable, talented writer, recording artist, and producer. He will share with you how he got started, what he's working on now, and his plans for the future, and his top 10 hits. He wants to see how many other people he can help, and this is a great time to do it. If you love music, you gotta love Mike. So we want to see you next week, same time, same channel that we're here right here, so that you can hear what he's going to do for the future. It will be streaming live on the same channel, same time. This is from Joanne Hollywood, Your Body Magic, Credit, Health, Debt, Wealth, Crypto Queen. Thank you so much, and thank you, Ms. Clark. Excellent presentation, and Pastor Norris.
All right, thank you very kindly, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I might have a little change. Is Dr. Jarvis, Glenn Jarvis on the line yet? Okay, well, we won't have a change. Okay, we're gonna review what happened when the Reverend Jesse Jackson came to Cleveland, a Rainbow Push, to be involved with the Sharon Williams situation we have here in Greater Cleveland, and we have an excellent panel to talk about it. And you give me 1 minute apiece. Have to cut the time, we're running behind. Reverend Ben Fair,
Yes, sir.
tell me what you learned and heard over at Great Abyssinia Baptist Church under the leadership of Reverend Cavaniss when Jesse Jackson was here. The
Yes.
Reverend Jesse Jackson of Rainbow Push.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bibb. Yeah, it was a very exciting time, very informative meeting and session. Reverend Jesse Jackson, with the president of Rainbow Push, who came to town, along with the president of SELC, Mr. Charles Steele, for all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, who gave a good report. And Reverend Jackson said that we didn't come here to destroy, but we come to build. And he stated, he gave 3 or 4 essential stages. He said, we've come from slavery, and from slavery to Jim Crow, and from Jim Crow, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and from there, we are now here at the access to capital, industry, and technology. So Mr. Jackson is saying that when you look at America, America has lost its moral values. And the reason why he stated that is because he said there's been, since 1880 to 1940, 5,000 lynches took place and not one indictment happened. So he stated that the white people on Sunday morning, they go to church. On Sunday evening, they had a lynching. And on Sunday night, they go back and sing the Lord's song. So he's saying that America has lost its moral values. And he stated that it's too much violence, Mr. Bibbs. Every day we hear about violence that's happening in our community, in our major cities. And he's saying that Cleveland is the poorest big city in America. Not only that, but he stated that not only Cleveland is the poorest black city, but did you know that he said that America has lost its moral values? And he said, although we have access to capital and we have an industry and we have access to technology, but yet people are starving in our community. So he wants to get together and change some of those things that's happening in our community.
Thank you, Reverend Fair. Is Ms. Wyvon in the house?
She may not be able to come on. She was saying that where she is, there's a lot of noise background. But Sharon Penman is on the line.
Ms. Sharon Pittman, would you share with us some of the things you heard when the Reverend Jesse Jackson visited Cleveland?
Yes, Mr. Bibb. Hello, visiting viewing audience and listening audience to people get ready. Last Wednesday was a very dynamic afternoon. He gave a very powerful and dynamic speech. As Reverend Fair said, Reverend Jackson doesn't intend to just speak about the problems and the issues that need to be addressed. He also intends to work with our leaders here in Cleveland to address situations and issues such as the violence, such as Sherwin-Williams and their headquarters. And he said that these types of things are not just happening in Cleveland, they also are happening in Chicago. So him partnering with our leaders and working together to put an end to some of this hypocrisy it's just what we need. You know, it's beautiful to see that he hasn't stopped the good fight, and he's going to continue to do what he's always done, and that is to encourage and to lift people up and give them a reason to fight the good fight. I just want to also add that I saw Reverend Jackson when I was about 8 or 9 years old in Chicago. There was, it was back then, it was Operation Breadbasket, which grew into Operation Push. And they had a rally then where they were getting people to come out, where they were addressing the people in Chicago about the importance of us coming out to vote, staying together. The same issues that are happening now were happening back then in the 60s. So we still have a lot of work to do. He still is, like I said, a dynamic speaker and someone who is not afraid to get on the front lines and fight the good fight.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon Pittman. Is Miss Patricia Solomon in the house?
No.
All right. Is Dr. Gwen Jarvis in the house?
She's not on yet.
Mr. James Bell, would you bring us on home?
Yes.
James Jerome Bell.
Yes, I just wanted to say that it really was an honor to see Reverend Jackson and the immense relevancy that he still has today. When we think of Reverend Jackson and the immense reputation that he has, just by him coming to Cleveland meant so much. And Sherwin-Williams took notice of it. They actually made a statement, and they are coming to the table of brotherhood, in which we all have opportunity to be inclusive. And so I think that that's really, really important.
Who's coming to the table with brotherhood?
Hopefully Sherwin-Williams.
No, you can't. You don't have a quote from anybody from Sharon Williams saying that.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
No,
this is
no,
Dr.
I
Gwen.
don't. Oh, damn.
Dr. Gwen Jarvis.
Oh, how much time I got? Okay, Dr. Jarvis,
Yes.
what we're gonna do is tell us about about your violent organization.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Gwen Jarvis, as Mr. Bibb says, and I am the voice of color for Moms and Men Against Gun Violence since 2016. And Moms and Men Against Gun Violence started back during the Sandy Hook when those students got killed. And a lady went on the internet and she says, we have got to do something. She went on Facebook, I'm sorry. Her name is Liz, and I've had an opportunity to be in her company.
Something must have happened to her.
She fell off.
Mr.
All
Panic.
right,
Mr. Panicus is on.
Mr. James Panicus. Mr. James Panicus.
Yes. How are you doing?
Good. I understand Mr. Robert Dean's going to be here Saturday. Could you share with us right quick where, when, and what?
Yes, Mr. Robert Dean is going to be in town. He's going to be in Independence, Ohio on, don't have the flyer in front of me. I'm sorry about that. So Mr. Robert Dean is going to be in town this coming Saturday at 11:30 I'm sorry I don't have the flyer in front of me, Mr. Bibb. But this coming Saturday, you do have the flyer. Miss Candace has the flyer.
Right, it's 6200 Rockside Woods Boulevard in Independence, Suite 320.
And he is actually coming to town because along with Mr. Bibb, myself, Miss Candace, we're actually going to be launching a health and wealth, a health and wealth movement that is showing people about the importance of gut health and how it relates to a lot of the, disease and a lot of the sickness in the world today. And we're going to launch this powerful movement that is going to bring an infusion of cash and an infusion of health into the Cleveland area. So if I was you, but I'm not, but if I was everybody, I would be there to hear African American gentleman who has made over $60 million in less than 10 years, but has helped over 60 people become financially successful in the world today. So I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a powerful thing. And the people that's not there are going to be people and individuals that are going to be the ones that are going to miss out on the greatest thing since sliced bread, Mr. Bibb. I'm just going to be real.
All right, thank you, Mr. Canicus, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday in Independence.
All right, I'll see you there.
Okay? And Ms. Gwen Jarvis, if you can hear us, we can't hear you, but we're going to reschedule you for next week so that you can share with our audience your mission and purpose of your organization. So we'll get in touch with you and let you know what time slot you'll be in next week. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching us today, and hope you learned a lot of what's going on around Ohio and around the world. We had awesome information for you, and have a good evening. See you next week.
See you next
I'm
week.
back.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Okay.